I always do it, like, try to catch you off
I
track.
know. And it only partially works. Anyway, hello.
Who you gonna be?
Once again, this is mid-card Mana. We got here...
Braun Strowman. No,
we got Braun Strowman.
no, Big E.
Big E.
Big E.
Well, I'm a
His
little,
New Day
I'm a little
rocks.
pale. Oh, this is the big A right here.
Big A. Oh, let me move. Sorry.
How's it go, Allison? How's Big E?
Oh, don't you dare be sour. Clap for your favorite cha-cha and feel the power.
It's a new
Dun,
day.
dun,
Yes, it is. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, go. No, don't
Because
climb up.
New Day does in fact rock.
All right.
Alright,
That's
so
right.
first,
So,
Sam
Survivor
Keola, the Wrestling
Series.
Connoisseur, future world champ Allison, and the loose cannon. So
Survivor
Survivor
Series
Series
is what we're gonna
was
talk about
pretty
now.
long. So we're gonna
let's
go
start.
over the pre-show matches.
That's,
And we're gonna go in order. So the pre-show matches were Elias versus Jeff Hardy.
I know your name.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Or sorry, not Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I know I said Jeff.
Just that?
Just wishful thinking. But so this might be playing into Jeff finally,
Returning.
or not Jeff, but Matt finally being broken, because he talked about reaching closer and closer to his breaking point.
He's been teasing it since they come back, really.
And I mean, there has been word that TNA, Impact, Global Force,
Whatever.
might be willing
Get
to
away from me.
let
You
it
go.
go. Might be
Dude.
willing to let the gimmick go and actually
They should.
sell it, so they can pay their talent. We'll see. So of course, unfortunately, Elias ended up beating Matt Hardy.
I wouldn't say unfortunately.
I mean, I know it's probably better for the gimmick, but I
Is it a
like Matt Hardy more than I like Elias Sampson. Every day.
Well, I mean, if you think about
I like my eye.
longevity
Over there.
and your product and what you're going to build.
Oh yeah, no, definitely
obviously
Elias needed that win.
Is the one you're going to have win. Of course, it was the pre-show, so it wouldn't have mattered who won.
Yeah. The next match was Enzo Amore versus Kalisto for the Cruiserweight Championship. Enzo ended up retaining.
No.
That's how I feel too.
Enzo sucks, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Enzo sucks.
Zo sucks. And Zo sucks.
And
Zo sucks.
It's because Enzo is
So sucks.
SOFT. Soft.
Soft. What more
So,
can
I
you
mean,
say?
yeah, that match is
I mean,
just
I
that
figured
match.
he was probably going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just interested to see what's gonna be in store for him now that the main person that has been his competitor for the past
SAWFT.
month or so, a little bit over a month,
I don't
is
know.
now
I don't know
gone,
who's
like
going to be
done.
the feud,
That's how Big Cass and
yeah.
Enzo said it.
I don't know how they're going to make anybody care about someone for this feud.
Enzo sucks.
We'll see.
And Enzo sucks.
It's true.
And Enzo sucks. And
So
the
that
next-
was only two, huh?
No, there was another pre-show match that was Breezango, which is
yes.
Tyler Breeze and Fandango, versus
Fandango.
two people that were left off the Survivor Series card,
Kevin
Owens and Sami Zayn.
Zayn.
So
and
Kevin and
interesting
Sami
part
did end up
because
winning.
I didn't expect them to. I mean, Breezango is kind of like the team that is right there for a tag title match.
Should
that
be
just
anyway.
never have gotten it yet.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're going to pull the trigger on them. They're using them as comic relief still, fashion files. But you would think with them being featured so much, you wouldn't just drop them out anywhere.
Yeah, I mean that they would be elevated to a certain level,
Yeah, maybe.
but
Yeah, but of course, Owens and Zayn win that one.
proving that two people that are solid competitors can jump into a tag team even though they haven't been in tag team in a while, and
It looks like they're
beat
going
an established tag team.
Yeah, they're going to use them together for a long time as a tag. It looks like.
I hope so.
But yeah, I mean, of course, they are like a unit, so it works, to be able to use them as a tag team or singles.
Yep.
And of course, they come along later in Survivor Series 2.
They do. So the next match was the first one of the main card. So it was the Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Shield versus New Day Rocks.
Yeah. Gosh, you know, such a good match.
It was, I think, the longest match on the card besides the Survivor Series match.
A lot of fake finishes. I will say this. This is what stood out to me for the match. I was a little let down that New Day actually lost. Because I was wondering, like, okay, is this going to be the moment where we finally get...
where we finally have the breaking of the shield?
Turn, like his... And it almost looked like it at one point when I believe Ambrose was the only one left. Rollins and Reigns were both down, and it looked like Ambrose was going to take the fall, and nobody was going to be there to save him. And I thought, oh, maybe this is the moment the Catalyst turned Ambrose heel. That didn't happen.
It did not. I was surprised.
There was a lot of great spots. Everybody helped to get everybody over except for Roman Reigns. And, I mean, this is what stood out to me.
Roman also wasn't the one that got the pin.
Right. Everybody really took everybody else's move.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see Reigns take Big E's spear. That didn't happen. Rollins and Ambrose took everything from the New Day. They took all their big moves. The New Day took everybody else's big moves, but Reigns didn't take anybody's big moves.
Too strong.
You know, that's what
Too much mana.
It come out like that, but it didn't, you know, on paper it looks like that, but it didn't come out like that in the match.
It just makes him look like a jabroni.
It made him look like, oh, we gotta protect Reigns because he's so fragile.
Yeah, it was little...
And it
didn't work out the way I think that they
would
have wanted
it
it
to. Look
to.
like, okay, he's so strong they couldn't hit their things,
But what would have made him stronger is if he took all of them.
If he had taken Big E's spear and then got up.
Yeah, and like...
Not sold it.
I was like, it
but
partially
like, get up after selling it, like, oh my god, I'm dying, like, and then kick out, and then make a comeback.
Show an actual strength rather than...
Tell a story and make a big comeback. The fans would have a much more different response if he could tell a story in the match and make people care instead of like when he's selling... Like his whole singles run trying to get people to care was just him laughing the moves off. And it never worked.
Didn't work, yeah.
He doesn't come across as a badass like The Rock or somebody, but he doesn't tell the story.
Who would be able to get away with that sort of thing.
But The Rock will tell a story in a match. And I think what they need to do is have someone like Jerry Lawler work with Reigns. And for Lawler be the producer of Reigns' matches and really telling him, hey, this is how you need to sell. You got to tell a story. You got to do that Rocky comeback and get the fans involved in your match. Instead of this one, he didn't take anybody's spots, and it just looked like he was there to get over off of other people's job. But all in all, it was a good match, barring that.
Yeah.
Which is what they wanted. So it just come across as that's how they booked it, and that's what happened.
And I mean, it was... The finish didn't surprise me at all. Or the fact that Shield won didn't surprise me.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised.
I was surprised at how certain things happened in the match, because I think what they had wanted to accomplish within that match...
The whole match
ended up very different than what actually happened.
Yeah. I felt they really wanted to get Reigns over in the match,
and that it just didn't. Yeah, and that didn't click.
Another thing that stood out to me was I feel like Big E got the most out of the match. I mean, he had Ambrose and Rollins up.
Yeah, and then they did the double midnight hour.
Yeah, and I mean that was huge spot. I mean, Big E.
And that looked great.
Yeah. He's just a monster. I mean...
Which is funny because I think a lot of people are quick to forget because of how he's played in the New Day.
Yeah.
Or because of the dynamic of the New Day. But I mean, Big E, before he was...
They missed a big opportunity.
In the New Day, he was Big E Langston. 3 wasn't enough. He needed 5. You know what I mean? Like,
Subway sandwiches is what they're talking about. You had Big E and you had Reigns, and you just missed a huge
opportunity.
Yeah, to really elevate both guys to show each other how strong and everything they were.
Because, I mean, they're obviously...
It just felt like they were trying to protect Reigns so much.
The two powerhouses of their respective teams. So, by not having a meaningful exchange, you sort of cheated them out of their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you saw Kofi do high-flying stuff, and, of course, Rollins and stuff, and you saw... Dirty Deeds and Xavier
really
have their
helped
moments.
everybody, but with Reigns not helping everybody,
Then
and I don't blame Reigns, I blame the people producing this match
Yeah.
and Vince McMahon for trying to protect him. It did not do anything for Reigns.
it didn't help him.
You know, if they had a moment where they did a test of strength and him selling for Big E, but then healing out of
Xavier
it.
Woods got a bigger test of strength when he had Big E and Kofi on his shoulders.
Yeah, that was a huge...
It is 15.
Bingo.
15. Yeah, I mean, we could probably dismantle that match all night, but it was a
But we've
good
gotta get to
match.
other matches.
Yeah, it was a good match. It had its flaws. Mainly the flaw was trying to protect Reigns or get Reigns over, and that hurt the match more than help it.
More than helped anyone.
Well,
I
didn't
mean,
help him.
Yeah. Helped him the least. Alright, so the next match, lest we rant about this all night, that occurred on the Survivor Series card was the Women's Survivor Series match. So that was, for Team SmackDown, it was Becky Lynch, Naomi, Carmella, Tamina, and the mystery partner, which was, I announced on the Saturday before as Natalya.
Yeah. I think they missed a huge opportunity not having it be someone from NXT or Paige.
Or anyone else besides Natalya. There were even some "We Want Lana" chants that were starting.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the fact that
I
they had
feel
hyped
sure
up
they
a
waited.
huge mystery partner, only to have it be Natalya, and I think even how they handled it. So, what I would have done, like if you had known already, like on Saturday, you were planning on it being someone else, and then just didn't work out. You're planning. Oh, the tape.
tape is gone. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Well,
not to. I want.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna spoil some this week in WWE part. Especially since they brought up five
Five.
women from NXT and Paige.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well,
Why
Paige's
were
introduction fell flat on Raw, I felt. I mean, it was huge. Everybody was like, oh, yeah.
But it would have
But it
been
wasn't-
even huger.
It would have been more so if they had brought her in on as part of Team SmackDown.
Yeah.
Even if they had her turn on SmackDown and show up on Raw for the next night, whatever. It would have been more huge
So
than what we got. And
Yeah.
having Natalya show up, it was like, oh, okay,
it was
it's
such a
Natty.
buzzkill.
It was.
It was such a letdown. So what I would have done if like you're on Saturday, you wanted to have it be someone else and then just didn't work out, on Sunday you film it like there's an off-screen mystery partner. Film it, have the girls check in, just film them, their side,
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, we're really glad you're on our team.
Yeah,
We really
something.
think that it's gonna turn out well. We'll see you later,
Yeah.
and then have
It'd be Bray Wyatt dressed as Sister Abigail.
and then you have a moment where they're just like, oh hey,
That would have been awesome,
there's only
actually.
4 of us, and then they're just like, where is she? And then just have that, and then have them discover them in a room. Just have a shot of them looking in a room, going, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? We need a 5th member, and then have them.
I'll
find-
save the day as always.
Yeah, and
Here
then
comes
have,
Natty.
and I know it's something that they've done already with Natalya, but when you look at it, it also gives whoever you want to bring up next a built-in storyline.
Yeah.
That's automatically their first feud going in, Natalya, because Natalya took away their big debut moment at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I mean,
if we're honest, any of those 5 girls they brought up, that would have benefited them huge. Apparently, since it looks like Ruby Riott is going to be the
Paige of
leader,
SmackDown?
Yeah, Paige Jr. of SmackDown. I have a lot to say about that whenever we do that.
Yeah,
video,
we're gonna
but,
hopefully do it quickly after this one. We'll see.
But yeah, it just, I don't know. It was what it was. It was anticlimactic.
We're gonna go through. So interestingly, as
Anything
far as
you really have to say about this match besides that?
actually, yeah.
I mean, I thought Tamina did a really good showing.
And I mean, Tamina was one of the last people to be eliminated from Team SmackDown. And Becky Lynch, the first person to be eliminated.
Nia
and the captain.
Was eliminated quite early. I thought Nia would go on to be one of the last ones.
Yeah, count out.
She got count out. Of course, it's to protect her.
Yeah.
But I was still surprised she got eliminated early on.
By Tamina.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a nice setup
Eventually.
for something
The
to
two
go down between
powerhouses
them
of the
down the
show.
line.
Even though they're kind of related.
And I was glad, honestly, that Tamina was able to get that elimination, because I think she needed to eliminate Nia more than Nia needed to eliminate her. So that was pretty cool. First person to get eliminated from Team Raw, Bayley. So
that was expected.
It was expected. So it was just sort of disappointing about how it went. And the sole survivor was, of course, the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka.
Yep. Which I thought was a good beginning. I really did think that was a good beginning.
It was very good. And then I liked how for when it got down to just Asuka on Team Raw, and then there was still Tamina and Natalya on Team SmackDown as their sort of numbers game that, of course, Asuka overcame. She did...
Nobody's ready for Asuka.
Nobody is ready for Asuka.
Especially on Survivor Series, which is the only time of year.
Raw and SmackDown go head to head.
That's right.
Did you know?
I did. They still saying it, by the way.
I know.
Show's over and they're still saying it.
So it was nice to see her finally win against Natalya and become the sole survivor for Team Raw with the Asuka lock. Nice showing of how effective that is, and I think they protected that move very well.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that a lot. I liked the women's Survivor Series match more than I liked the men's. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So the next match that was after this was the mid-card belt versus mid-card belt. So that was
I didn't get
The Miz
see that as
and the
much.
Intercontinental
I
Champion.
need to go back and rewatch it.
And Baron Corbin as the United States Championship.
I don't know where the tape is. Okay, bye. Go look for it. Okay. There's some tape over there. Under my cup. No, my cup's over there. That way.
But it was
so
I thought it was really cool how Maurice, who has been sort of absent from WWE television for a while.
Maurice shows up.
Maurice shows up to for Baron Corbin to, work her.
Yeah.
And just like, this is what a real man's like.
Such a poor
like,
Rick
oof.
Rude. Yeah.
Well, couldn't even mean it. Couldn't even mean it when you said it. Like, so of course Baron Corbin won.
Poor Corbin.
Surprising no one. But Corbin, when he won, did two things wrong. So he said
just two.
two glaring things at the end of the match that I think really killed the moment that he could have had.
What do you need?
So the first thing he did was he failed to, because it was the stipulation or added stipulation that they were trying to imply was that if the Miz loses, he has to call Baron Corbin daddy.
Oh,
which is much that didn't happen, thankfully.
Okay.
And then the second one is he misquotes the Miz. So he was like, "Hey Miz, my hand went up and your mouth went closed." And I was just like,
actually, that's like so Sid-ish. It's perfect.
I know.
I mean, like Sid would always like mess up the quotes, and Corbin is kind of like the new Sid in a way, except less talented.
I was gonna say, except it's not charming as much as sort of like Like,
Yeah.
you missed it.
And here's what's sad is that this should have been the match that got Corbin over
And it didn't.
in some way because Miz is super talented. And I'm really high on Miz, but I think it's well deserved.
Definitely.
He's not my favorite or anything. I just think he's really
Miz
good at what
knows
he's doing.
how to work a match, and Miz knows how to work with people.
He knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah.
And this should have been the match that got Corbin over.
It didn't work.
And I don't think, for one, they produced the match right to do that. And I don't think Corbin knows how to get himself over in a situation like that.
It was funny because
Corbin could be wrestling Dusty Rhodes and not get himself over.
in this match, I mean, it's two heels, but Miz was the face of this match. And so people wanted Miz to win.
Right.
Instead of the person who was supposed to be overcoming the odds of the Miz-tourage and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It didn't come across because Miz-tourage also didn't really interfere as much in the match.
Plus, you have Curtis Axel, who the fans also want to cheer.
God, yeah.
You know, I mean...
I cheered for him so hard when he came to Hawaii
How many
last year.
times, though, I mean, do you have a guy come out there and the fans just start chanting for them without any prompt or anything? And just like the other week when they were like, Curtis Axel, and they wanted him to be the fifth man against Shield.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you just don't get that.
But The Miz thinks the world of Curtis Axel.
Right.
But he was never going to be the fifth man.
Right.
So,
I mean,
that broke my heart. I was just like, come on.
Yeah. Corbin should have got
How's it going to
over
hurt?
from this. I don't feel like Corbin... I don't feel like he got anything out of it like he should have, which is
Not at all. Not at all.
So I was really surprised that Corbin won, because I don't see, if he can't get anything out of it, and I just...
Then why bother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that with his title run too, but yeah, it's going to be forgettable after someone takes it from me.
Yeah, and after this past Tuesday, we might have seen a glimpse of who his next feud will be with, which we'll talk about in that next video.
Right. Yeah.
So the next match after this was really good. It was probably one of my favorite matches of this weekend, and that was the Bar. So that was Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Usos, the Uso Penitentiary, in which the Usos won.
Yeah. I was hoping that I'd much rather Usos win.
Yeah, but that Benjamin and Gable were gonna come
American Alpha would come in and cost them the
American
match.
Data.
And the Usos, they looked great.
They looked fantastic. They had such great tag team offense and defense.
The Bar,
I thought like the cohesiveness of their work was.
Sheamus and Cesaro they're a great tag team, and the Usos. I've always felt that they split tag teams up way too early. Usually, I'm on the feeling that the Usos are ready to be split, and I never feel like that with any tag team. But I think they could split the Usos right now and do a feud with them, and then put one on each show and kind of repackage both, and that both would get over really well. I mean, you could run both in the
they're both
US
super
and
charismatic.
IC title area.
They're both really good at working with other people.
Yeah.
And making it an interesting match. So as someone, I know I talk about Cage Side Seats a lot. I read a lot of comments because it's what I do.
I'm trying to get over there. Someone keeps telling me every day to start blogging.
I mean, I've written 3 terrible blogs, so you should write at least one good one.
Yeah, I'll get it over there eventually.
So, and someone made a really good point of the Usos have for so long been the go-to tag team to get other tag teams over. You want to have a good feud or a good first feud with Gallows and Anderson, get the Usos. Yeah. You want to get the New Day looking really good on SmackDown, is the Usos. So it's really nice to see them sort of at the top of the mountain after for so long. This was the team that was supposed to help push other people up. And they've super
been
talented
around for
in
a
of
long
itself.
Time, and they've
Very
been
long.
relevant for a long time.
Yeah. As a tag team.
And I think what's especially good is that you've been able to watch them grow.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, they're from when they started, they're so leaps and bounds ahead now. especially on the mic.
Oh,
where it's good to
man.
see this growth, and it's been natural and organic growth on their part and the fans and everything.
And especially now as heels,
And I
they've
hate
been
to do
faces
this,
for so long.
but because they are so closely related, you compare both of them to Roman Reigns, who has been pushed so hard and hasn't had that organicness grow and allowed to grow on his own. And you do see a huge difference there. And I think Roman has grown too, where he started out super, super green.
Well, I think
the
it's
Usos
unfortunate that the Usos
have been in it a lot longer.
For Roman Reigns that the Usos in their careers have always had each other.
Yes. Well, that's why I felt when one of the Usos was hurt, they should have thrown Roman in there and let Reigns really learn from the other one.
When Jay was hurt, they had Jimmy tag with some people, but he was
it was
mostly
just never aired.
on
He was
commentary.
Yeah. But if they had him with Reigns at that time, I think Roman could have learned a little bit more all around. And I would actually do that if I split them up. I would put one with with Roman.
It's funny because I like how the Usos, especially when they're faces, so much of how they presented, how much they presented themselves as faces was tied to their culture and being Samoan. So they did the Siva towel before every match, which I was really big fan of. And then when they went heel, I was sad that it wasn't there anymore. But I mean, they do
this face turn they're getting ready to do now, which it is a slow transitional face turn, but I really feel
it's a slow burn, but it also seems very natural.
It's the same gimmick that they're keeping to, which is nice that they're not going back to the face paint, they're not going back to the ceremonial dance in the beginning, and all these other things that I think if you went back to it now, it would be taking, of course,
away.
Would be taking steps backwards instead of seeing the growth that they've done. So I'm looking forward to this face run they're doing. But yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Fingers crossed that they keep up the same momentum and are taken as seriously.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think without the face paint, I think they're right that they're taking it a little bit more seriously. Yeah.
So the next match, and I just loved the Usos match. So this match to me fell a little flat after that, and I feel bad for saying so because it was still a pretty okay match. So that was the women's match. That was SmackDown, Charlotte Flair versus Raw's Alexa Bliss.
And there was that. That was the match. And Charlotte won.
Charlotte won with a figure 8.
Everybody kind of predicted that.
So I think it was very interesting to me and something that I've noticed.
I would rather Alexa won.
And I can't
honestly.
And I can't remember if I've brought this up in a video, but I think it's interesting, and I've talked about it before with how the Usos have changed their style from face to heel. Charlotte, it seems, when she's a face, uses as her finisher the figure 8 more, whereas when she's a heel, she uses the natural selection more. So it was nice to see her do both these moves, first off, but also nice to see that sort of difference in how she carries herself in the ring now that she's a face, and of course she's playing to a very clear heel.
I think too, she's still trying to establish herself because it's.
I mean, it's always been the challenge that she's had as a face, because when she's a face, she's so closely tied to Ric Flair that it's very much like in his shadow, and so that's always been the catalyst. That's always been the catalyst, though, for her turning heel, is she wants to distance herself from Ric Flair.
Right.
So it's very interesting to see how much it's been coming and going in waves at every time they want to turn her heel or face.
I just feel like when she's face, she is Flair, and when she's heel, so she's trying to get away from it. She's still it no matter what.
Like she's even more Flair.
Right. And part of me, like, yeah, I want to see her as Flair. I want to see that, but I feel like it's almost, it's just, topical.
Yeah.
We're not seeing her do the classic Flair stuff that he's loved for. It's just we're seeing her as playing Flair. She's not being Flair.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge difference. I mean, if we saw her coming out with the belt, dressed to the nines, and just
having other people
super
wrestle
ego.
her matches for
Yeah,
her.
you know, if we saw her like that and actually being a Flair versus, you know, I'm Ric Flair's daughter,
Yeah.
it would be a huge difference. And I think the sooner someone actually pushes that, the better for her, because she's never going to get away from it,
No.
in my opinion.
I mean, Randy Orton never really got away from being a legacy. Neither did...
Not really.
Yeah, neither did Cody. Neither did Goldust. I mean, like,
there's-
anyone that's had family that's well established in the wrestling
unless they
community.
they don't carry the name for one, and just don't bring it up that much, or two, if they embrace it. And I feel like Cody's embraced it. I feel like Orton embraced
Cody's
it.
embraced it at this point. I mean, I guess he
Goldust,
always had, but
I
I
felt
mean,
embraced it.
more than ever now that Cody's in the independents. Especially because he has the big tattoo. This is his dream. I think he's embraced it more than ever. And I mean, his video package that he had for when he debuted in New Japan, the first thing he said, "The grandson of a plumber."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like,
And Charlotte doesn't have that yet. I mean, it's always like a plot. It's always part of the thing and not part of her.
but I think she's also in a very unique position where she's a daughter of a legendary male pro wrestler. So
True.
the legacy that she probably feels she has to carry is a little bit different from what I think
Also
Curtis
that-
Axel would have had to carry as, or
Maybe not. Like if Kurt
Curtis
Hennig had-
Axel was probably a little bit of a
if
weird
Kurt Hennig had
comparison. but-
lived, I think he might be in that predicament, because Ric Flair is still a huge marketable piece for WWE.
Oh, definitely. He always
and,
will be.
And unfortunately, that's why she's champion again. That's
Yeah.
why she won at Survivor Series. And I think it's probably hard on her.
She's gonna beat her dad's record. I'm calling this.
Oh
right now.
yeah, but I don't think it counts until they say this is the, like they did the one time when they had the title. This is the WWE Women's World Title. They said it one time, and then it went to WWE Women's SmackDown title, or Raw title. Until they have a Women's World Title, it's not going to be as meaningful. And I think they should. They should have their own show, and they should have the Women's World Title.
More and more as the days go by, more and more people are getting on that bandwagon where, I mean, just make Raw 2 hours, third hour women's show.
Yeah. Well, there's talk that they're going to do a Facebook WWE show.
Facebook Live, that's going to focus mostly on intergender tags, mixed tags.
I don't know what it's going.
I've read something like that. Anyway, we'll talk about that
So,
later.
I don't have anything particularly stood out for the match for me.
Which is unfortunate because, I mean, it was...
You had the giant Charlotte fight the midget Bliss.
Yeah.
And
5 feet of Fury couldn't overcome 6 feet of Flair. You know what I mean?
yeah, that would have been a good tagline for the match. They should have used it.
So the next match after that was a match that overshadowed it hugely. So that was Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion for Raw, versus AJ Styles, the WWE World Heavyweight
And
Champion for SmackDown.
How could that match not outshine everything, really?
It did. That was the best. I will go on record saying that, to me, was the best match of Survivor Series.
Brock really sold for AJ.
Brock continued to sell apparently
Yeah.
afterwards backstage, like he was
Yeah.
limping around, and I was so happy because
That people thought Brock was actually hurt.
I was really scared when he came out of the ring that he wasn't going to sell. So I was just like, please, sell the leg, sell the leg,
So,
sell the leg, sell the leg, and then
Brock's
he was
at
so
the
like,
stage
thank
now where this machine where they want to keep Brock relevant and over, which is kind of silly in a way because he's already Brock Lesnar. There's no way he's not going to be relevant and over. But they want to protect Brock so much they think that they can't have him lose. But Brock sold huge in this match. He kept selling.
very much so.
And he only does that to help get the guy over he's wrestling.
Yeah.
He did it for Joe. He's done it for AJ. I still feel AJ should have won this
And
match.
AJ took the match to Brock. I honestly had moments where I was like, man,
he's gonna
Styles
win.
might
He's gonna
win
win.
this. He was able to hit the phenomenal forearm. He hit the calf killer.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the 450. I mean, like, he had a
It would've
lot
been
of moments of
huge.
really, really good offense
If Brock
against.
had tapped to the calf killer, you would have.
That would have been.
I mean, AJ's
amazing.
already going to be in the Hall of Fame eventually.
Yeah, he has
But
to.
this would have established AJ as, you know, one of the top guys.
Definitely.
This would put him as like this generation's Shawn Michaels.
and
if Brock had tapped.
Heyman sold AJ hard after the match. He's like, you know, if you're not watching AJ Styles, you shouldn't even, or if you don't like AJ Styles, you shouldn't even be watching wrestling.
Yeah.
AJ gave Brock probably his toughest match in years,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it's true. Honestly, I haven't seen a match that looked that good. I haven't seen a Brock Lesnar match that looked that good
Since he beat the crap out of John Cena that time. 16, 20
I mean, in
German
years,
suplexes.
16.
Yeah. But it was probably,
really good.
Probably Brock's best match since his comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like AJ should have won. He didn't, but we all figured
bounced
he
his head
would.
to get out of the calf killer. Bounced his head on the mat like a basketball.
Looks vicious.
My goodness.
So yeah, I mean that match speaks for itself.
In another match where both people that were involved came out looking great.
Yeah.
I mean, Styles was, even in defeat, looked amazing.
Yeah.
Lesnar, of course, is going to always be the powerhouse. So
I really feel like Vince is sold on AJ now after the Balor match.
Yeah.
Especially like in the beginning of that match, not to talk too much about it, but there was a few spots that Balor kind of messed up and AJ helped to really recover from.
Yeah.
And I think that really got him favors with Vince in a
Definitely.
lot of ways. To get into this match, and then this match was beautiful. So, yeah, I think AJ's pretty well protected from here on out.
I would think match of the weekend perhaps. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Easily.
Next is the
main event. So that was the Survivor Series match.
So
that was Raw, which was Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and the King of Kings versus Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Nakamura, and Abadu. Was he in that match? I didn't even see him.
Not for very long.
I know.
Props to John Cena for coming out just to help get some guys over.
Except for the fact that the first two people out in the match were Nakamura and Bobby Roode.
Yes.
And I will say this,
but
I was a fool because I was like, Triple H is gonna get in the match, so that means he's gonna get over one of his NXT people. One of his NXT people is gonna eliminate him.
I feel like he did get them over just by being in the match with them, honestly.
It just
it teased Stop.
It teased a lot of possible matches
Rude
to come up in the
Triple
future.
H, Nakamura and Triple H.
Balor and Nakamura.
This whole match though was really to get Braun Strowman over. Honestly.
Oh,
and I mean he needed
100%.
No, I wouldn't say he needed it, but it
helped him a lot
because he's supposed to be the monster.
Yeah, monster among men. Did you know?
Yeah, and there was men in the match, and he was the monster among them. So you had Rude, you had Nakamura. Strowman took the fight. He power slams
both of them.
He pins them, and it's like, oh shit! Braun just eliminated two guys, and then we have John Cena eliminated Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
With 2 attitude adjustments,
Definitely.
which I was glad to see 2.
Yes.
He hit one, and Joe got up, and it was just like,
I know.
Where am I?
At first, I was just like, God, don't let it be after 1.
Yeah, and then he had a second one. I was like, okay, God, it would be great if they set up Cena versus Joe down the line. I think everybody would love to see that, especially if Cena puts Joe over.
I think Cena and Joe would also love to do it.
You have Angle hits an Angle slam, and then Balor hits the coup de grace, and then Angle hits a second slam and pins John Cena. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a little bit of a shocker. Oh, Cena got taken out. It wasn't one of the younger guys that did it, but still yet, Kurt Angle.
I mean, it was a nice nod to the feud that started.
But we did have like an
John
assist
Cena's
from
career.
Balor to help get Cena eliminated. And I think they kind of went with that nod toward Balor on Raw, like, oh, he helped eliminate Cena. So then we were cut down. Orton, Shane McMahon, still versus four guys.
versus three.
Was it three?
Because it was Finn Balor, or no, it was Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, and Triple H.
And Balor was still in it at that point.
Balor got quickly eliminated by the RKO.
Yeah. And so, of course, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out to the match at some point.
Yeah.
Interfere.
Attack Shane, who no-sells their
Everything.
attacks.
Yeah. Hammer time. So, yeah, there's that. And I think Owens gets the RKO in the ring.
Owens gets an RKO. Sammy gets put through a table. Or gets slammed into a table.
And then we see... Did Braun take out Orton too? Yeah.
Yes.
Which was another huge nod for Braun. I mean, he's eliminated 3 guys. And quick, Braun takes him out. And then it's Kurt Angle and Triple H.
And Braun.
But Kurt Angle and Triple H kind of have a little
tiff.
Triple H, of course, tags himself in off Braun, which kind of got a little bit of a stare down. And then Angle tags himself as those two are staring at each other. And Angle's like, no, he's mine. And then, of course, Angle gets a pedigree for his troubles. Yeah. And Shane gets rolled over on top for the 3 count.
And then we're just like...
And Braun, they focus on... Braun sold it so well.
He did!
He's learning so much. Like, his acting, too. Because he just looked at Triple H
and he's like, what the...
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then Triple H, of course, he sells it great. He's like...
And then Shane McMahon's just like...
He's confused.
And he's like, all right.
Me and you? And then, of course, he gets the pedigree and gets pinned. And Team Raw wins. But Braun's still
Team Raw wins because Triple H got the last elimination.
But he played Braun.
Yeah.
And Braun was upset. And so Triple H just, talking him down.
Yeah. And Triple H is just like, no, we won.
Yeah,
we won, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yay,
except,
Yay.
And Braun.
At one point you see Braun look at him and he goes,
like,
no. And it keeps going on for a little bit.
And he corners him, chokes him.
Googles him by the neck.
Yeah. And just like...
Pushes him down into the turnbuckle.
Don't ever play that sort of game on me again.
Don't ever double cross me again. It'll be the last time you play the game.
Yeah, which was amazing.
And I mean, Triple
Braun
H
got the biggest shine out of anyone in that.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Well, of course, the biggest shine was Braun turns his back on him, starts walking off, and Hunter gets up and goes to attack him. He kicks him. And Braun kind of doubles over, and he tries to pull this massive guy
and it's like, there's no way.
And he's trying to hook him, and it's like...
And Braun's just like, nuh-uh, that's not how this is going to work.
And, I'm watching this, I'm thinking, yeah, we need to bypass the Angle Triple H feud. This is the match we need to have at WrestleMania. It's Triple H versus Braun.
Triple H versus Braun is probably going to happen at Rumble.
I think it will, unfortunately.
Triple H and Braun is going to happen at Rumble, and then Angle and Triple H is going to happen at Mania. Maybe Braun and Jason Jordan is going to happen at Mania. It's like a pre-show or maybe like first opening match. Because Jason Jordan's going to get in on this.
If
how
they
they're playing it.
I really wish they would...
Jason Jordan actually had a segment in the show where they interviewed him. And they're like, oh, you're supposed to be on the team, but just didn't make it. How you feeling? He's just like, I still want Raw to win, but I want Triple H to get the crap beaten out of him. As long as he's eliminated,
I know
still win.
They're stuck on having Reigns take the belt off Lesnar, but I really think they should have Braun do it if he's not going to face Triple H. Braun needs something relevant for WrestleMania.
I mean, he could take the IC strap off of Reigns.
Could. I don't see that happening either.
Just have him slowly work up to the Grand Slam. Have him be the tag team champions. I was saying this for a couple months ago, remember last month, and I was like, have Braun just be the tag team champions.
Bring up, they should bring up
Don't need to bring nobody up.
Yeah,
Just have
no.
Braun be the tag team champions
Should
himself.
bring up Killian Dane to be Braun's tag partner.
He'd be unstoppable.
Wouldn't that be great? I brought a tag partner. And they're like, what? You can't find a tag partner. I got somebody. And then it's like Dane
brought a
comes
friend.
out and have Cesaro and Sheamus actually look scared. Shit. But yeah, I mean that was Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
And it got Braun over huge.
Afterwards, Braun beat up Triple H. Triple H sold like crazy for him afterwards.
2 power slams.
And like as Triple H is walking out, like walked into the to the Titanstron.
That was what an exclusive WWE exclusive.
Yes, I like cry laughed.
He
I
was
was like,
walking up the
what a
ramp and
ham.
just,
It was amazing. And
It was great.
that was the Triple H I love. The Triple H that at this point in his life knows he's got to be getting other people over.
Yeah.
So it's
And I
just
mean,
like,
that's
my
what I feel
faith
like.
was restored a little bit there because I was like,
If they
did it
have
for
any
Braun.
doubt that Braun is over as a face, having Triple H do this now solidifies it.
yeah,
So yes, Braun is a face now. Anybody that's worrying or is doubtful or
no, he's a face.
cannot tell Braun's face.
In case you weren't sure,
I know WWE can be skittish at times where you can't really tell and they don't want to commit. Like the Roman Reigns being a heel for like almost the last 2 years.
thank you.
But
Oh,
in
you
fact,
taped
Braun
him.
Strowman is a face. I don't know. I don't know what we'll see from here. They teasing.
Oh, you taped the belt.
They're teasing Angle and Triple H, and they're
Thanks.
also teased Strowman and Triple H.
And they're
still
also
yet, so-
teasing very, very subtly Angle and Jordan. It
I
started.
don't know how they're gonna.
So of
do
course, Survivor Series ends with Raw coming out 4-3, finding that the 2 Raw teams win. Actually, the 3 Raw teams,
Yeah.
Shields and the 2 elimination matches win.
Yeah.
And of course Brock Lesnar because
Brock
Brock Lesnar. But all of the other champions, SmackDown wins.
Yeah. So they're not the A team,
They're
but they're 18.
Yes, that was Survivor Series.